Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to a live AMA Ask Me Anything here with the Blue Nest Beef Standard Soil and most importantly Bobo Links brand, all working together under one regenerative umbrella to bring you the very best in frozen beef and snack foods. Tonight with us, we have a new addition to the team. We've been growing over the last few months, and because of that, we're benefiting from more and more folks helping us. And most importantly, recently, we've been honored to have Miss Keira Dionne, who's here on the screen with us today, join us from her previous role in commercial sales to be our Vice President of Sales for Blue Nest Beef. Welcome, Keira. How are you doing this evening?
Really good. Thanks for having me.
Well, I know you've had a long resume, and I'd invite people to go online and look at all the things that Keira has done in the commercial world. But I guess the first question that comes to mind as we've been preparing for tonight's discussion is how have the skills and things you've learned in the commercial business to business been playing in your new role of selling food from business to retailers? What have you seen? How's that transition gone for you?
Well, it's been great. Floor covering was a wonderful career, and it served me well for 17 years. And raising kids through that time, and things, for me, really started to transition. When kids were getting older, and although there's a lot of things that are wonderful about floor covering, and I enjoyed it. I just was looking for something that was more fulfilling. And so it kind of coincided with all of the things that we've been dealing with as of the last few years, so COVID. So it was kind of a really a big time of a shift. And so I started exploring, what are my passions? What are the things that I wanted to get back to? And, I'm a kid that used to run around in Washington State, where I grew up, and play outdoors most of the time, and was called in at night. And so nature has always been a big part of my life. I enjoy being outdoors and doing all the activities, scuba diving and snowboarding and all of those things. And so and really caring for the environment. And so when I was transitioning out of flooring and thinking about something different, really kind of getting back to that. And then this opportunity came up, which really just made a lot of sense. So regenerative agriculture, and being a part of that is really exciting.
I'm glad you brought up regenerative agriculture because it's a going theme right now amongst all of our efforts to promote the brands and get this into people's minds. But it's all based on the common belief that the soil and the land that we're working with the ranchers and the farmers is precious, and it can be both conserved and with an active verb regenerated. So I'd love to hear in your own terms as the newest member of the team, because you've met a number of different players on the science side, the ranching side, and the logistics and handling side. But in the last few months as you've been coming on board, how would you describe what regenerative agriculture is? And yeah, I'd love to get it in your own thoughts.
Yeah, so regenerative agriculture, so sustainability has always been that big word that people understand and recognize. And sustainability is great, but that just means that you're staying at one point. So regenerative is really, what we all want, because it's considering the whole group of things that are affected by the choices that we make, whether it's pesticides or just practices that don't contribute to the health of all of the things around us in nature. And so the fact that, and then also I'll say, even though we're talking about a great subject, that the bobolinks themselves are also fermented. So when you talk about, all of the microbes and the things that are important in the soil and the health of that and what that means to the animals that are eating it, and then the animals that we're consuming as well, because that chain, it all makes a difference. And so when you when you eat something that comes from regenerative agriculture, holistic approach to ranching, that really can't get any better. It's
Yeah.
something.
Completes the circle, as we say. And yeah, want to remind people that we are live tonight, and if you've got any thoughts or questions, you can put the questions into the chat box and whatever you're viewing this in, and those questions may get into the conversation. Just checking to see who's engaging so far. Thanks for those notes. Well, that's a good point. What you just said, completing the circle. That is, on the one hand, we've got ranchers and farmers choosing a certain way to manage their land, but the other end of the cycle, the retail consumer, the person who is in a store or buying online, is making a choice as well. And that's always baffled me. And you're the vice president of sales, so maybe, hopefully, it doesn't baffle you. But how do you package up the various label claims of any brand that you're selling, whether it's for your previous life or in what you see now in Boba Links, to get through to certain consumers? What do you find that is the most compelling as you talk to consumers right now on the various claims that regenerative agriculture is it the fermentation? Is it the do good to the soil? Is it the nutrients, the lack of poisons? What do you think is selling right now as you talk to wholesalers or retailers?
Well, I think it's a bit of a learning curve, honestly, that, in certain circles, regenerative agriculture is something that is very much understood, but that term particularly is probably not as understood as we'd like it to be. And so really, I feel like this is a grassroots effort. When we bring on retailers, I consider them partners because they have the same value system in their store and what they want to represent, and they're willing to support us. And that, to me, is it's community, and it's more than a quick sale. It's about building something that is for the future. And and I think that when we can, as consumers, I get informed every day about things that I didn't know about. Like, I try to stay connected with things, and there's a lot of good things going on social media, and so I try to curate as much as possible, and about the things that I'm really interested in. And there's a new app that it costs to get, but if you take a picture of the label, it tells you based on the ingredients if any of them are toxic, and goes to scientific evidence that talks about the different clinical documented challenges with those things that are added. And so it's an exciting time to be a part of something like this, because I think that because of these tools that we have, we're able to, and what we're doing right now, I mean, hopefully people, have an education about, how important this really is, because it's not the mainstream. And it is challenging when you're competing against a lot of other products that have a lot more money in front of them, invested to be flashy and be able to get your attention maybe better. And we're working on a new website, which I think will hopefully be a lot more user friendly for our customers. And so yeah, using all the resources, but I think it's definitely it's a work in progress. It's a
Yeah,
challenge.
I've heard you say the grassroots and the experimentation mindset. This whole project since 2015 has been very science based, and so we're glad to have you on the team thinking about the consumer choices in the same way, making these experiments, the A/B testing, to see what really gets through and breaks through and catches. Because I think, like you said, word of mouth spreads rapidly in a modern world. Social media is our friend, because I think If you've tried boba links, you know that there's a snap and a taste and a tang from the fermentation that you get. And so, but how do you get that through to the consumer is the great challenge. I love working trade shows. I've done a few now on behalf of Blue Nest Beef and boba link specifically, and I was excited to have you on the team back in June. When we took that break and went up to the Outdoor Retailers Conference. This is, again, business to business, retailers looking for new things to put in their stores. And we had the Blue Nest Beef, along with our good trade show expert, Bruce Allen, with us, giving samples out. And that's the pop that I was excited by. Whenever we started to see the look on consumers' faces, you'd say, hey, you're about to have a fermented sample of meat, and then ferment it, taste it, snap, tang. Oh yeah, we do that because we don't want to put anything nasty and chemical at the end. So we use a natural fermentation process to keep it preserved. So it was fun to see that sell through. Now, I'd love to get your takeaway from the Outdoor Retailers Conference. And if you want to use specifics, please, I'd love to hear about it. Is the people we met, the impressions you had, and then where did you go with that? Where this is really your first introduction to the brand, and then from there pushing into retail side. So what do you think of the show, and what did you take away from it?
Yeah, so I've done a lot of trade shows, and they're long and challenging sometimes, but this one was a lot of fun and very invigorating because one, it's like my tribe. These are all outdoor retailers that we're surrounded by some really innovative new products, or but just outdoorsy. And so that was fun in itself. And then of course it doesn't hurt to be in Colorado anytime. But yeah, just the people that we met, and of course we were sampling. So it really truly is the hands down, if somebody tastes it, so you become a believer because it's so different. It really has some great flavor dynamic, just because of the uniqueness of the fermentation and the quality of the products that we put into it, organic spices, and then of course our 100% grass finished beef. And so, you're talking to people, and these are retail buyers that are coming into our booth, wanting to, looking for new product. And we were different. There weren't a ton of food products. And so, but, I was surprised at how many engagements that we did have, and we brought on some new retailers. So even our first retailer, and they're really spread out in the United States. So Sergeant Troy's military store in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, and they were our first, and they're actually doing a sampling of our boba links this weekend in their store, and again, it just goes back to the people that we're partnering with really do believe and want to support us, and it's a really cool thing to have. We're not just a one-off in a store that's going to make them some money. It really is more than that. And so, and then we brought on like Infinity Sports and Outdoors in Alma, Arkansas, and I had so much fun meeting those ladies. They, it was a group of three of them, and they were just having a good time, and we're, people that I'm enjoying working with. And so, and then
I heard you say that these were people that you could tell shared our values and engaged with the brand, and they thought that they could sell. By the way, do you have an example of the register canister that was a big hit there? Do you have one of those?
Yeah, so we basically,
it sits right by the canister.
Yeah, sit by the register. So let me get it in this. I don't know which way to go. Get it in the screen, but basically, just canisters so that you can keep them handy by the register. And I keep them in the office, and pretty regularly, I would say almost daily. Get to a point where I just want something, and it's there. So that's always nice.
Any other retailers come to mind that have joined recently that you want to shout out to? We could put the links to their companies and their towns in the show notes here so people can follow them. But anybody, you talked about some folks in Tennessee.
Mhm.
Arkansas, anywhere else?
Yeah, so we just signed on a new group in California. They're in Brentwood, which I understand is just a little bit outside of San Francisco. And so it's the Urban Edge Farm. And Barbara is the matriarch there, and she found us on social media and sought us out. So I thought that was really great. Had a great conversation with her. She talks about her store that they have on their farm. They invite people out. It's a you pick in their orchard, and so they've cultivated some things to keep in a store, and she really liked our story, and it aligned with their organic farm as well, and so yeah, they're selling them there too.
Oh, excellent. We'll definitely have to get the show notes updated with these good stores. So it's exciting because for a long time since the launch, we were only available online. Then we added Amazon, and so if you've been a long time customer, all you've got to do now to raise the bar on choice is hit that subscribe and get that subscription, drop it in. Because I know when we go low in our household, it's a tense moment. So we just put it on the subscription. But if you're a new visitor to our site and want to learn by tasting, we've got a great deal tonight. If you can order your first pack or pack of Bobo Links and then put in at the checkout Bobo 10, you'll get yourself a discount on that first so you can have the experience of trying what the folks at the trade show were finding when they bit into that snappy, clean, non-greasy, juicy fermented beef stick. So don't forget to do that. We'll put those in the notes as well. The Bobo 10 for the discount. So now I guess I talk a little bit about the future and where do you see the opportunities coming and what types of retailers aside from the outdoor retailers do you think will be a place that would benefit from having Bobo Links in? And is it always a registered checkout, or you see a couple different ways to engage? Really talking to the wholesaler retailers now.
Yeah, I think that overall we're more going to be in that specialty retailer niche, and so whether it's a small grocery store that's outside of a national park entrance, or uh, another very specific 100% organic, or small grocers would definitely be, and we're talking to some people, so there's and I think people kind of, we could throw it in the shelves of some major, grocery stores, or put it in convenience stores, and maybe it'll evolve to that. But I think that, you know, cheaper is the more of the mantra of some of that. And unfortunately, we're just not in a position as a small company to, not be profitable and take shortcuts really in what we do. And so, as things get more ramped up with sales, then we have more opportunity to do things that are maybe vertically integrated with our operations, and be able to save there to do more. But
I have a question.
ultimately,
I have a question coming in. Could be from a retailer. It talks about different and various countertop containers, and then that leads to another question around hanging bags. Have you put any thought into that, and something that retailers can look forward to? And if they have some ideas, how can they reach out to you to
yeah,
engage and learn more? Because we really are, right, from what I understand, we're still developing, and so engagement with these wholesalers, retailers would be is welcome. So
yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
different containers, hanging bags, and then how can they reach you?
Yeah, so yeah, we have the countertop containers, and then people can be creative and put them in other things if necessary, and we're willing to get creative with the anybody who is our retail sales. So let me know if there's something that makes more sense, or we need to consider. And then we do have the 6 and 8 pack bags, so those can hang instead of or doing that with. So depending on what your rack space is, and yeah, my email. You can email me or find me on LinkedIn, and it's just my first name dot Dion at bluenestbeef.co. And yeah, we're if anybody has an idea, if there's a place near them that they think is an opportunity, I'm all ears, because the response has been really great. And we send out samples because really, tasting is believing, and really that's what it's about. And so, that's kind of the process of bringing on new retail and consumers, because, we're going to be looking at getting involved in even some farmers markets locally in the Houston area. So looking forward to just engaging with customers.
I know one of the interesting potentials and leads, and I understand you're working with some of them, so it might be too soon to say, but how do you think about the non-traditional retailer? What I'm describing there is like an outfitter who's preparing for a multi-day or maybe a week-long canoe trip and taking a bunch of guests out.
Mm-hmm.
What part can mobile links play in the outfitting side? And then especially for sports camps and yoga studios, I think we had one project where we're working with a yoga studio, like, coming in a little bit different angle. Instead of picking the people wanting to do good work in the soil, they're actually saying, I want the health benefits of grass-fed, grass-finished, and fermented. So any special thoughts around the health conscious and outdoors conscious non-traditional retail?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot to do, and again, the fact that we're flexible, what it's going to come in, it, this is our beef stick, and they're all individually wrapped, but whatever we can do to be a part of, outfitters, the programs, or if it's seasonally, or it's large orders, of course, we can come up with all kinds of mechanisms to support that, because it's really about the ranchers. It's about giving them a livelihood that allows them to be able to do and more regenerative ag, and be able to, and it's going to spread, and people are going to realize, hey, as a rancher, we can make money doing this, and support ourselves, but also the planet, and this, and all the animals and beings that live within it, the microorganisms that are in the soil and are in us. These are all part of it. So,
Well, excellent. I'll share my surprise aha moment in a second, but wanted to get your thoughts. What has been the biggest eye opener since really starting to study this? I know your personal style is to study and know something before you try to sell it, but is there anything that struck you as an aha moment?
it's just work. It's just having the conversation, and then there's a lot of roles to play. So shifting gears into other things, and we're working on marketing right now, so that we can have a more streamlined presence online. So just no, it's fun. That's the great thing. I am so glad, and I think a lot of people don't realize what they're missing out on when they take the chance. And of course, I have great supportive family that I've been able to rely on during this transition. But it's so worthwhile, and it's so great to wake up every morning knowing that I'm doing something that I really enjoy, and that I get to engage with people. But because there's it's like, why not? What this is how I want to spend my time.
You stole my aha moment. That was the biggest surprise, was that so many people are engaged in this project, both within the Standard Soil, Blue Nest Beef, and Bobo Links, but tangentially out, all the ranchers that sell their beef into this program, that are able to reduce their input costs, clean up the land that they may have inherited or have take it under control and are cleaning it up, um, all the way through to the scientists and the bird lovers and the bird advocates that benefit from the Audubon Society's conservation ranching program. Uh, it's the people, and they do it with such passion. And again, I like you, come from a non-traditionally agricultural background, and I can say that I didn't really find that in the other parts of my career. To find people so adamant and just the spirit of volunteerism. Like, we all need to pay bills, and obviously, like you said, the ranchers are able to get um, uh, paid for the quality of their ranching. I think that's especially true for our suppliers, and that's why I think the costs that we have are legitimate and transparent, and that value flows back to the rancher, so that they can have the positive feedback of the consumer's choice. And so I'm excited to have you on board because of your previous sales experience, the discipline and professionalism. I can tell that when the retailers engage with us, with you, they're getting what they're expecting. And not to take it away from my other partners, but we tend to be business, finance, and ranching. And professional sales is fully welcome. So I think what we'll do is thank you again for joining us, and thank all of the viewers that came on, and those of you that put comments in. And this will bring the half-hour conversation we've just had to a close. But thank you very much, Keira Dionne. Thanks for being on the team, and we look forward to what you're going to do for the customers and the whole company. Again, Keira.Dionne at BlueNestBeef.co if you're a wholesaler or retailer looking to engage. And you can always find us at BlueNestBeef.com. And again, Bobo10 will get you that discount at the checkout. So again, thank you, Keira. Have a good night.
Bye, guys. Take care.